Next on the news at 10 is Sports News with Ayo Balogun.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
Time now for some sports news. The league management company, the LMC, has announced that the 2015-2016 Nigeria Professional Football League season will start on February the 21st and end on October the 2nd. Well, the first round of the pre-season tournament will hold in Kaduna from January the 20th to the 24th, while the second round will be played in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State from February the 1st to the 5th. The pre-season tournament will involve league champions Eyimba FC, runners-up Warrior Wolves, third place Nasarawa United, and Federation Cup champions Akwa United. LMC has given all clubs a deadline of February the 10th to settle all outstanding salaries owed the players and coaches arising from the 2014-2015 season. Across River State, government says it's ready to host the National Sports Festival in the second quarter of the year. The National Sports Festival has suffered several postponements owing to financial constraints. It was initially built to hold in November of 2014, but was moved to April 2015. The general elections held last year forced a further postponement to this year. Well, the state says all facilities to be used for the festival will be ready by the month of April. Olarinok Quadri, Segun Toriola, as well as Funke Oshonaike and Edem Ofyong have been confirmed as Nigeria's representatives at next month's IWTF Africa Top 16 Cup holding in Khartoum, Sudan. In the list released by the Africa Table Tennis Federation, Quadri, who won the tournament in 2014 in Lagos, will battle for the title against his rival Egypt's Omar Assar. The tournament, which is scheduled to hold from February the 14th and the 15th, has the top 15 players on the continent, including a player from the host country, to complete the top 16. Winners in the men and women events will represent the continent at the 2016 World Cups. Well, Nigeria tennis coach Ubali Mohammed says sponsorship for the sport will spur youngsters to succeed. Nigeria has managed to produce players in the junior cadre. Now, they have not been able to make the leap into the senior category yet. He believes, though, a concerted sponsorship drive will ensure that the dreams of talented tennis players will no longer be truncated.
We're able to get the maximum number of players qualifying for the main African Junior Championship, which is coming up in Pretoria, South Africa. And then also for our kids to be able to get a scholarship from the ITF, because the ITF team is on ground watching all the talents that we have here in Nigeria and West and Central Africa. And then also for them to be able to be in the team that will represent Africa in the European tour and then the African tour also. The European tour comprises of playing the Junior Wimbledon and then US Open and the Australian Open. So that is our objectives now.
Well, 34 past and present players from the Australian team Essendon Bombers, one of the country's richest rugby clubs, have been issued 2-year bans for doping. The Court of Arbitration for Sport upheld an appeal against a decision in March which cleared the players of taking a banned supplement during the Australian Rugby League's 2012 championship season. The decision leaves Melbourne-based Essendon without 12 of their listed players for the entire 2016 season of the Australian Rugby League. And that's a wrap on sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun Gimba. We'll be back with the rest of the news at 10.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Lasun Yusuf, says that Nigeria must address the high turnover of lawmakers to help develop the country's parliamentary system. Speaking in Malaysia during the 23rd Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth, the Deputy Speaker said that the country loses a lot when members who have parliamentary experience do not return to the National Assembly. Legislators at the conference also discussed some of the challenges confronting parliaments across the world. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, reports.
It's the second day at the 23rd Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth, with 39 countries in attendance. One key topic for the day considered the orientation and development of parliamentarians. The lawmakers agreed that given the critical role of the parliament and the diverse backgrounds of parliamentarians, it is essential that those elected are properly equipped. The leader of the Nigerian delegation says this has been adversely affected by the low number of legislators that get re-elected back to the parliament.
Nigeria, I will still appeal to our people to know that experience matters a lot in the job of a legislator. It matters a lot, and the rate of turnover is so high. Like in the 8th Assembly, we have close to 200 new members. And no matter how brilliant you are, it will take you average of between 9 to 12 months before you begin to understand how legislative arm of government works.
There's a need to train parliamentarians on budget scrutinizing skills, on world views, on SDGs, that's sustainable development, growth, climate change issues, financial issues, and many things that are affecting the world stage at the moment.
Speakers and presiding officers also agree that there are challenges confronting the parliament that must be tackled.
Certainly the percentage of people voting has been in decline over recent decades, and that has to be a matter of concern. I think we have to address the issues of how we engage young people, well, in the wider population, in terms of getting them to vote. We also need to address the issues of media, the use of new technologies in engaging people with the parliamentary system, I think.
I am saying that if all these people were so interested, they should come and see what their representatives are doing, come and see what's happening. What they decide to do is to stay in the background and criticize. Of course, we are still under a duty to try as much as possible to make it more open, to include them, and so on, and we will try to do that. But I think it's really a cop-out for people to simply to say, look, we're not interested in what's happening and it's the parliamentarian fault. I don't buy that.
Speakers and presiding officers here agree that while they do everything they can to build the legislative institution, that the parliament and indeed parliamentarians must do more to address the concerns of their citizens. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
A huge blast has rocked the district in the Turkish capital, Istanbul, killing at least 10 people, most of them foreigners. Turkish officials say that the Syrian national carried out a suicide bomb attack in the Sultan Ahmet district near the city's famous Blue Mosque. 15 people were also wounded in the blast. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that Turkey is the top target for the terrorist group in the region, and he says that the country is fighting against all of them equally. And the main news again. The National Assembly has cleared the air over the 2016 budget status, with the Chairman, House Committee on Appropriation, Abdulmumin Jibrin, affirming that it is not missing. Honorable Jibrin told Channels Television that the stories of the budget going missing might have been triggered by the shortage of copies of the document available to lawmakers. And the PDP and APC have disagreed over the continued detention of the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Olisa Metu, with the PDP alleging high-handedness by the EFCC, while the APC insists it is part of the crackdown on corruption. And the suspected suicide bomber has killed 10 people, 8 of them German tourists in the Turkish city of Istanbul. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. I am Gimba Omar. On behalf of the entire production crew, have a splendid night, friends. Good night.